Right. I'm checking the YouTube to see if everything okay or no. Just 1 second. Yep, we are live. All right, let's just wait another 1 or 2 minutes before we get started.
Yes, so let's see we live, we go live now.
Yeah, we are live now. Just wait a bit. We start at 3 o'clock, so it's just good to be there. So to prepare. How's your day today? You good?
Yes, so very good. Hi, Chris.
Good. Hey, Tuan. Thanks a lot for coming online on a Sunday, spending your time with us. Can you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell me about your background. What happened that you become an Angular developer?
So yes, hi Chris and hi everyone. Thank you for spending time in the Sunday to have me to talk, and thank Chris to have me the chance to sharing my experience. And so I am an Angular developer, and I have more than 4 years in working. So it become is software developer. So when it age of age when I was two grade class, I see the first contact of Robocon in Vietnam, and so and after so that I said I must become the engineer, and I study very hard to uh, go to the Hanoi University and to study in technology, graduate it, and go and get out of my school and becoming to software engineer, just a still engineer, and I choose to become the software engineer. And I know about the Angular when I begin to working with Tuan, Tuan, and he is a famous person in the Angular community, and he introduced me first about the Angular, and I researched about this, and actually when I'm working in the school, so many information from my teacher. Uh, I see the Angular is a similar the object orientation concept, and I realize this, and the uh, knowledge about Angular is covered is a lot of in the system, a lot of system, and so I choose to learn this and do this, and I think it's a very good framework for web development.
All right. Thank you for quick introduction. So I know that today we're gonna talk about unit testing in Angular for front end. Maybe take it from here. You can share your screen, share with us however you want to go. Take it. You can lead the conversation from now.
Yes, okay. Let me begin my presentation. Now, I prepared a sort of slide to introduce everything, to introduce my presentation now. The today we're talking about the front-end unit testing, and I do an example in Angular. So it's some short information about me, and to everyone can be who I am, and so information. And today we're talking about the front-end unit testing and the example with Angular. So the table of content I prepared in 5 parts. Firstly, we need to know about why we caring about testing and why testing is the most important when development. And so in 2 parts, we deeply understand about the type of testing and some testing level. And in the fourth four parts, we will talking about the unit testing and do a small example with Angular. So we begin the first question: why we care about testing? So to answer this question, why we care about testing, we need to answer one question first. What is a software testing? So in the internet and anywhere we can reference it, we can find a ton of the answer of the question of this question. But for me, so an hour, 100 hours of research and thinking to find out the answer for this question. I find the answer must be will be the best answer for the question is software testing is a process of executing a program or system with intent of finding error. So what I think to this answer is a bad because unlikely to mechanics or physical system, the bug not come with time to using. Uh, the bug of software system is becomes the design error, not a cross-on or wear or tear like the mechanical. And with the software delivery, the bug and error is buried. It not find out until we do the upgrade or finding it. And software testing is here to find every error we still have in the software system we ship it to user. So is in the software bug is always is any software system is more in any more risk side not become it not becomes the developer careless or can or not carefully when working is become is the so the human is limited ability to deal with the complexity of business requirement is not we losing some requirement when working or during working we miss some miscommunication with each other is the reason in software testing delivery we will have only have on always have a bug always have a so after answers is after we answer is answer the question is what is the software testing? We can answer the why we care about testing. Is the first, don't want all contribution to go to here. If the software delivered to user have many bugs, it's in a not it's useless and cannot heal. It's so terrible. And the long time we spend to working is losing and come to trash and no one uses. The second is save our dignity and money. We don't need to the investment to building the software is so less. And if the two thing I told maybe becomes the testing is nice to have and depend on the personally with the developer. In the third answer I will show is to make everything stand. Is the company hire me or hire the developer based on willing to spend time for testing. We can't do it if the company hire me don't allow this. It's my experience and my vision can so the 3 point about we need to care about testing. And Chris, you have any idea about this question?
I actually want to know a bit more in detail. So when we go to Angular, because I love code, right? So I want to move more into really what are the tips? How do we improve our test cases?
Okay, so after answering the question about why we need to care about testing, we need to know some kind of testing. So before going too deep with the unit testing and go to the example with Angular, I need to get the overview for testing. We have so many types of testing here. Is a reason in any company needing to QA team to do the software testing process. And we have three types of the system. Either system testing, performance testing, and unit testing can do by engineer when development time. So it needing to by engineer itself because it will have the output after the development time is in the high quality and makes more and make it easier when smoother when working with QA team and deliver the product meet the all requirement. And so you can see and we can see about the testing paradigm here. I see in the screen. Well, the testing level we have the end-to-end test, the integration test, and unit testing. In the presentation and talk today, we're talking about the unit testing. This unit testing means the testing in isolated code in small pieces. It's an integration testing we compile each piece to do instead. Example, we have a controller and service. In the unit testing, we test isolated controller and service. And in integration testing, we test compiling what the controller and service working together. And for end-to-end testing, it means it's testing application with a real-world scenario. In this testing, we will take a lot of effort in these types. And so in my experience and my research, I know about this test. We need to write another application like a robot to do the scenario we put into the output and execute in the completed version of this software we will deliver. We going to deliver testing in a human scenario. We do this. And integration testing and unit testing will do by the software developer or QA team when the development time. So time testing. And after we have the overview about the reason we need about the testing, overview of software testing, and we go to deeply in the unit testing. And in this slide show here is the answer answer about what is the unit testing. Unit testing is a typical automated test write and run by software developer to ensure a section of application known as a unit meet its design and behave as intent. It's intent. Just mean is the way that I talked before about the example of controller and service with testing each other isolation. So to testing, we actually know. So in the software, we have a small piece, a lot of bars, it communicated together, and how to can testing is isolation. We need to talk about the one important thing in the unit testing is the marking. What is a marking? So we do with the example of the register form. In this form, we have the two actions: is save and submit the form later. And in the course, so in the form, we have two functions, onSave and onCreate. So in onSave, we call the storage service. We call a function set to storage from the storage service to do something with the form data of this form. And same with the onSubmit function. The difference is from the we call the function from the API service. we have a diagram about the example. The unit testing will execute testing for component in register form, but register form depend on two service, storage and API. And to execute the testing isolated with register form, we need to mock storage and API. This means we will make the register form can run individually, not depend on this by provide to register form the mock of storage and the mock of API. So we don't need to care the data after calling the function from service and API. We just care about the when in register form we click to save the function step to storage in storage service is called the end, and here is end here. In this setting in register form is isolation, and we just need to know when click to save and click to save is set to storage encoded. So
Yeah, sorry, Tuan, a quick question on this. Yeah, exactly. I was just, I wanted to ask about the SPI, right? So can you maybe give us an example of when do you think it's good to use a SPI?
You means is a type of what is this?
No, I'm asking when is it a good time to use a SPI? Just give us an example that what is a good example of using a SPI?
Example is SPI. Okay.
Actually, you can continue with your presentation because I think I saw that in your presentation. You will talk about the spies. You can just continue with your presentation. Then I will ask again later.
Okay. And talk about the mock, we can classify. We have what type of mock we have in the unit testing. So we have the four types of mock when we're doing this. The dummy just means the layer is a parameter we not need to do it. Just provide to component we will test it. And in stuff is we need to for the stuff is we need to it will return the response with a specific parameter and inputs. In SPI is we provide an object need when we need to check down the time code and code the parameter we need. And it's a true mock with the most complexity. And it depends when the complexity of the component we do the testing. When we have, if the component have a complexity like the calling API, and after API have exception, we will show this to user. And in the example, we need to know we need a true mock to come with the component we have. So with the example, we will write in this testing for this. Everything in the code, we have a describe to what is outside. It means one test suite, test suite. And in one test suite, we have a test case, and each function and each method it test case. Each method have the example right in the Angular. In each function, we have the first parameter is name of test case, and the second parameter is callback to do this test case. In the question in the example here, we have the test suite for register form. When my experience and when time I'm working, I am when write the test case and test suite, we need to write a story. Just when is unit test may often run in most of in the past when we do in pipeline when run in CI/CD and it's only try on the log when in CI/CD when running just name of test suite and name of test guide. And in this way is the name of often is the name of component we will testing, and is the test case we will execute, and it will compile test suite compile with X test case to have a complete sentence. In the question in the example is where we register form should set form data and register form should submit form data. It's a meaning sentence, and if we have an issue when run CI/CD and we looking on the log file and we read the the sentence appear in the log, we have we will take a short time to find exactly error in the test. It happened in testing and save the time to find it and fix it. So after testing, we need to know about the matrix in this testing. When do the testing we often hear about the coverage. How many percent is or your code is covered? It means the testing matrix in the web applications, especially with Angular or REST. So in so many programming language, we see we have the four type of the matrix. We need to know when executing the in this testing about statement, brand, function, and line. It's meaning the how percent is coverage in your code. It means we prepare the test case to each part of your code and return to the example I prepared. We have the two functions on save and on submit. The function we have the matrix of function will become to 100% when we have two test case to each function in this component. And similar to this, the perfections seen in if we have the four 100% in X matrix, and to developer is coverage higher. It seems like a certificate to your code, and it will easier to manage and easier to find a bug, and it will and the metric will tell to the manager of this project is code quality is managing, and it means we spend time to write purpose. We spend to write purpose to get your code have a higher percent of coverage. It's in this part, I research I research in the internet, so I have a question in here for Chris, and as the manager in no code, how you think about the percent of coverage in the code of your project?
Thanks, Tuan. Usually, I would request to have at least 70% coverage, of course, on the key areas of the app. Not everything needs that 70% coverage, but usually in the key areas and key functionalities, I would request 70%. So usually in our company, we use SonarQube, and then SonarQube quality gate expects minimum of 70%. Yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think is it good?
I think it's 70% is enough. It is enough for enough to mark this project is can testable and have easier when the issue happen. That means when we have an issue, we can find in the like I said before, we can find in the log to find the exactly path have error. It's because your project have a 90% function is covered.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things that I like about writing unit tests is the usage of it on the regression test, especially when we are doing micro front-end architecture. It's quite important to have a proper unit test so that actually Jenkins can hit the unit test run, and to make sure that whatever code change you're doing does not destroy somebody else's front end. That's one of the things that I am even more careful and more demanding on the unit testing, especially when we are started applying micro frontend.
Yes, I think when you say apply this for micro frontend is effective. It's much more than much more effective because we can testing each batch and compile the report of each batch into to know each batch in micro frontend architecture work correctly, and so and just tell each batch work correctly and not to tell each batch work together correctly, and we'll need to make sure it together working correctly. We need to some integration test about this. For example, component A working with component B, communicate each other will return the correct responding we need.
Yeah. So during one of the challenges that I have had before that TIP actually helped us a lot to improve was the performance on Jenkins. I remember when we were running the unit tests on the Angular, Jenkins was taking like almost half a day. So what do you think? Do you have any tips? How do you suggest that we have to improve, that helps us to improve unit testing for the Angular to improve the performance on running Jenkins on a CI/CD?
Just okay. For any tip for me is will same with the next part. I will tell about the example in Angular. I prepare the very simple example in here. You can see I have a list and to go line open line. Just very simple as this and in your code. And to improve is when then running Jenkins or CI/CD. After complete my code, let me come to presentation mode. This here is my component. I prepare the one spy surface for my component. And after working, I will prepare the test case before I write the test and mark each function with to do is name. So my tip in here to is just only to is only to provide the test tree name and test case name have a meaningful sentence. That means when we running this test case in CI/CD is running in test case in CI/CD is a sentence will show in log with here app component and the test case name. This is only sentence will show in the Jenkins log and when running in CI/CD. Is main the application should need the version of this. And if we have an issue in here, when reading the when reading the sentence, we know test case about this init version we have issue. Yeah, and from my experience and my tips and each test case we have an expected function, and to easier to manage the log, to easier to find error when reading the log or managing code. Each test case will only have one expected expect function. That means we is a function we have is test case we have expected the component should render successfully. But so if so I saw the code of many people in my team. We just we write so many expect in test case like this. So when we're running in CI/CD, we just we just see this sentence. But in this sentence, we have to expect, and we don't know what expect have issue. To to resolve this case, I have a tip here to provide a small test suite. This small test suite in test case like this. And for this test case, and this is the sub test suite we have the test case to sub test suite like this. Yes, you get to copy and paste. So.
This is really good. Thank you.
So after to chaining the code like this, when running in the CI/CD, the sentences will show in the log we need. It's in the roots. That's why we have the application come with is that case come with the name of the subtest suite in create test case and come with the name of the test suite in the subtest case here, and see a Latin in the next line in log in Jenkins. We have the two two lines in the log here, and if we have the issue in here, we know exactly the person I need to have an issue. It's issue because they will provide the wrong spy or wrong output or wrong execute in the list here, and easier to find and save your time to find and fix it. And with the old approach, we just have only app component. Just have only app component and should create the app. Okay, and we have an issue here. Some is the issue we have the two expect, and we don't know what expect have issue, and we the information we Jenkins just told me create application app issue, and we have to expect here. And now we need to open the code, debug something, and so many steps we know the expect have issue. And to new approach, we know exactly this path have an issue here in here, and set the time to go into the code and find the issue on this. No need time to debug to find what exactly path have an issue. This
Thank
is
you,
my
Tuan.
tip.
This is really interesting. Thank you. I really like this. We're running out of time, actually. Once again, thanks, Tuan, for getting online and spending your Saturday with us and everybody else sharing your knowledge. I appreciate it again. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to say before we finish the call?
Yes, okay. That's all for me. That's all for me.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Take care. It was really fun. Learn a lot. Thank you. I really loved the last tip. That was very interesting. Thank you.
Okay,
Take
thank
care.
you, Chris.
Bye. Have a good
Bye-bye,
day.
everyone.
Bye.